Welcome back to another video. Luke Hart, Joe and Peg. He's in the background, but he's coming in. So, for those of you who have seen the thumbnail and the title, you know what this is about. For those of you who didn't, and you're magically here, we are going to talk about the Chilli Jam, because it's been a really popular board. And what we wanted to do was show you all of the team riding it in loads of varying different conditions in the UK, because we've got a team that surf all over the UK, and the feedback's been really positive. But the actuality is we've only got footage of Jowan on it, so you're on your own. We're going to keep you posted because it is becoming a pretty special board. So we're just going to keep this one going as the footage evolves. Jowan has been surfing this for how long?
Maybe 3 weeks.
3 weeks. And he's been surfing it with the H4s as a quad, MRTX fins, 2+1, so twinny with a trailer. And then you've had a couple surfs, which I don't think I've watched, actually.
I think maybe one. I don't have many clips of it as a thruster, really.
And he's using the Mick Fannings in the Pro Flex, which is just glass flex in a large. Shaper Vibes, that's like my not least favourite, but I want to see these two with the team more than I want to see that.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the board's for, really.
Yeah, well, you'd argue that these are adding some more novelty, and the board's novel because you're a good surfer and you should ride shortboards. Just briefly to summarise the shape, if you haven't seen the original video, if you do want to see the original video, check our other videos. It's in there somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where I do a deep dive on the shape, but essentially it's a board with single concave, kind of higher wide point, parallel rail, stubbed nose, and kind of thickness brought forward in the board. And that's just giving you loads and loads of speed in a pretty small package, so you can kind of fit it in small nuggety waves. You can ride out on the face with a bit more drive on the slightly longer rail line from the shorter board on like fatter, bigger waves. So it just becomes a board that really sort of munches up waves that maybe don't have as much power and shape as you would want to have if you were surfing your high performance board. But I would call it a high performance board. Some people would disagree, but I'm desperate to see the team surf it in comps and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think, I was like, because the amount I'm loving it at the moment, I'm already starting to think about board masters coming up, and it's going to be grovelly, probably.
Do it.
You think this?
Well, like, you were absolutely chucking buckets. Maybe we won't clip to footage now, maybe we will. Don't know how this young man's going to be editing the video, but he was sending spray on this board. So what do you want? What do you want to do at the club? You want to rip, don't you?
Yeah, it's weird. I definitely have more fun on this, but I feel like I could surf better comp surfing on my epoxy.
Yeah, like more transitional kind of...
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
For me, like mid-tide fish draw, you're not choosing the bank and you're having to surf 20-minute heat. I feel like you'd go faster and have more of a fun surf.
Yeah.
If you could translate that into scores, then brilliant. We're going to go through like what Jowan's been feeling, and we've got footage. Have we got footage of the thruster?
I've got like 1 or 2 clips. Oh no, a few.
So we've got clips of all three?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got clips of all 3 fins. If you had to pick one fin setup for this board, what would you go for?
Quad, definitely.
Quad?
Definitely the quad.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And it's new to me. It's like a whole new feeling and a whole new type of surfing. And I think the first few surfs were kind of tricky on it, just getting used to it. With the calves, it's like, feels like you go halfway, and then when you're coming back around, it really twangs you back around.
Just drives straight.
Yeah, and there's a clip that shows it really well, and I just remember the feeling of that turn, and it felt so sick.
Initial thought, what does it feel like under the arm now you're at the beach?
Feels sick. It was like a bit thinner than I thought up here, I think. But I don't know, it's hard to tell. It's like such a weird shaped board that I don't really know.
Quad.
And the quads are like throwing me off. Profit, let's do it.
Let's have it. Quad, kind of more lateral carvy kind of surface. My rule for quads is it's either rubbish and you need to get down the line quickly, and then you're doing those kind of ugly self-made turns, but it would be easy to generate the speed on the quad because you can really put a lot into it. Or it's kind of cuppy and like almost pumping, but you're not necessarily going to be doing bottom turns. So like little barrels, little sends where you're just going to fling it up.
The first couple surfs on it with a quad, I was really struggling to do a snap or anything sort of vertical. I'll put in a couple of the bad clips of me just completely mistiming the top turns with the quad. But then I started to get to a point where I could click it almost. I don't know what fins are coming out, if it's just a back two, but it definitely had a few turns where it clicked out and then back in, and it felt really nice.
Lean into it that way and then lean back into it that way. And then for a quad, it's like crazy. So the lateral carves that you can do on a quad is mental. But when you lean in that way, if you try and lean round the pivot, you're gone. It's game over. So quads is like reconnecting and disconnecting in the same movement, and it's kind of bang, bang. So like lateral kind of big turns. Or the reason it feels so fast, if you think it's got more drag, hasn't it? Because it's got more fin, you pump and it goes higher and it holds, and then you get down and then it goes higher and it holds. So like little nuggety waves, if you're just like going all the way and then you're just going to do one close out reel or an air, or even just like a real like down carvy sort of thing, or even stall it for a barrel, they're sick for that. I like what you're saying about it being new to you, so there's that novelty
completely
of working it out. And that's what I think a lot of people miss. I would say this is a hybrid between novel fun and easy surfing and easy high performance.
Yeah, but then you can size it up for your average surfer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I am pretty average. 34.4. So I'm 85 kg average surfer, 34.4 litres. It goes. It's fast. It's easy to take off on waves. I've got instant stability, and I have surfed it in bigger waves as well, and it feels really nice. I mean, I am a mid-length guy at heart, but I could easily pack these with volume. I mean, the volume on this is...
It's not on there.
Of course it isn't on there. Who's your shaper? Why do I never...
But maybe run through the dims, because we haven't
Yeah, it's 5'7", 19 3/4, 2 3/8, and I want to say it's 28 litres. It's a lot of the foam, the extra foam is through this part of the board, so you got like stability. Best clip you've got? And what fin setup would you say you've got the best clip?
Probably the 2+1, but that's what I've surfed the most.
As a shaper, you would say that these would offer the most amount of pivot, so the quicker directional changes, but you'd obviously lose speed quicker as you transition from rail to rail. There's sections everywhere. You know the drill. What fins you got? 2+1? Oh, wow. Okay.
I reckon it'll be fun.
2+1, right. What are we going for? Laybacks and airs?
Big layback.
Yeah. So you had the session at Watergate, which was actually a really fun session, wasn't it? It was But I'd definitely say you took the heat with that 2+1. And I think some people would be surprised that they would have that much control over a board in that sort of junky surf.
Yeah, I didn't really think it was as big as it was.
No.
When I was going in, and then they still felt fine.
Yeah,
I didn't skip out or anything at all. I almost feel like a quad on a day like that could go too fast to dig in.
I would say that they'd be too lateral with that drive.
Yeah.
Too drivey.
Yeah.
So you would want the pivot. I'm surfing the 5'10", 35 litres or 34 litres, and I love the 2+1 fin setup because you get drive off the rail when you're going down the face because you've got that big fin on the side, and then you've got loads of release, so it's kind of skatey in nature but kind of easy to be skatier. And then what was it like with the thruster? Like, compare it, be really brutal, because you got a shortboard at the same time as this.
Yeah, I haven't surfed that shortboard enough to fully have a grip on it and understand it, but compared to a normal shortboard, surfing this as a thruster, because I think I only surfed it once or twice. It felt easy to do shortboard surfing on it.
These would be, on paper, the best fins for everything. So drive, hold, speed, but that makes it kind of not as good because the differentials aren't as intense.
I'd say it felt the easiest to do normal surfing with them.
Yeah.
Just easy. And to really get the most out of the designer board, I think these two are way better.
Yeah. I just feel like put them on your shortboard.
Yeah.
It's like, this is, Would you surf this over your shortboard in everyday fun fistral, high tide fistrals that we've been surfing? What would you pick? This as a thruster or your shortboard as a thruster?
Fuck.
If you knew, like, there's a camera there, you can get clips, there's some really big sections.
Oh, my shortboard. My normal shortboard.
Would you?
Yeah, I think so. As a thruster, yeah.
That's interesting. God, that's not my answer I wanted, but I like it. I like being honest. I like to try and build a picture because it's one of those crossover boards. Like, if I'm surfing it and you're surfing it, the gap between us surfing is pretty vast.
Yeah.
The gap in probably paddle fitness is pretty fast. The gap in age is pretty vast as well. So it's just kind of cool to understand where your head is with these boards. Because I think that this board is like, I want you to say, this is a board that I can just surf every single day in the UK and I never have to have a shortboard again. And I'll only surf my shortboard when it's pumping. The fact that you don't say it, that's cool.
Yeah, but I pretty much has been like that. Since I've got this and my shortboard, I've surfed my shortboard twice.
Yeah.
And that was when it was big, a solid day on a low tide bank where it was kind of just one or two big turns.
And you got the new shortboard froth.
Yeah, I just wanted to try it. Every other surf, and I've been surfing pretty much every day, I've been on this.
Yeah, that's what it is. I just kind of know how much fun they are, but how it just makes things easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, easiest to surf, thruster?
Easiest surfing as in shortboard surfing, a thruster, yeah, but...
Fastest?
Fastest quad and most fun 2+1.
Most fun 2+1?
Yeah. 100%.
I think that fun in surfing equals high performance. I think it's...
Yeah.
If you could do backflips really easy, you'd do backflips all the time. Yeah. Like, as soon as you have one beer at the pub, you'd be like, watch this, lads, I'm going to backflip all the way to the toilet. Like, it's just... Because you're having more fun doing those crazy things. And I think that ultimately fun means high performance. Okay, and then, so you had to pick one fin setup for this. You'd pick the quad because it's a more explorative thing.
Yeah, I'm just loving the feeling of how they're going.
And would you agree it's worth someone having all sets of fins with the one board as well? Because I just see that people...
It's three different boards.
Yeah.
It literally is.
That kind of does my head in when people only have one set of fins. But they'll swap their board 3-4 times a year. Once you've got the fins, they last forever. Like,
and that's talking about changing from quad to 2+1 to thruster. Even just if you have a thruster board, change your fins.
With
even the size of your fins.
Yeah. All right, well, cheers for the update, mate. Have a look at the footage. This is Jowan shredding on the Chilli Jam. Just a really brief video. We just wanted to update you because it's, like I said, we've got custom orders coming through. We've got you know, people like Jowan surfing the board, people like me surfing the board, and then you've got kind of people in the middle of us, like Mo, a good friend of the factory, riding it and loving it. It seems to be stretching a good amount of different surfers' abilities.
Gotta say as well before we shut it off, the amount of comments I've had on just the shape of this board is nuts. Everyone when I'm walking down the beach looks at it and they're like, the shape of that just looks sick.
And my mates.
They're like, that looks fun.
You've heard like Paris and all them lot, they're like engaged and all that lot. They're like, oh, yeah, what's this?
Everyone wants to see what it is.
Yeah.
I haven't had it as much with any board.
No, it's because you're lighting it up, mate, when you're surfing it. You're very noticeable in the water. Even Lucas was saying, oh my God, Joan's ripping on that thing. You know, it's just, it's suiting you as a surfer, but more people need to get on these boards, don't they?
Yeah.
Why not own one of these? Not exactly ours, or just...
No, you do. For summer, or even just the UK, you need something like this.
Yeah. Like, comment on the video. What else do you want to see from the Chilli Jam? Do you want to see me surfing it? Do you want to see me against Joan in the heat? I start with fives. See where it goes.
Bring it on.
So anything from, and there will be in the future, there's going to be some footage from Logan, Nickel and Luke Dillon. Get the big lads on it as well. Monday board meeting tomorrow. How to build a surfboard on Friday and all the other fun stuff in between as well. Appreciate you all. See you soon. Bye, Z's. I'm going shaping.